This is an informative speech about climate change. Climate change and how it is affecting the Earth is a big discussion currently. According to Pew Research Center, majorities in all 40 nations polled say climate change is a serious problem. The release of CO2 into the atmosphere is a major cause of climate change. This is a natural process of life on Earth that has been dramatically increased by the burning of fossil fuels since the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s. I want to provide research facts that show climate change is happening, why it is happening, and what we can do to deter climate change from continuing. The Earth's climate is constantly changing, but the rate at which it is changing is what's concerning. Scientists have many tools to help them understand natural occurrences that are a record of past weather and track the change in climate. According to Lori Schmidt, a science writer for NASA, Mauna Loa Observatory is considered the gold standard for monitoring CO2 emissions from the surface. With this tool, scientists were able to map CO2 emissions on a global scale. In the early 1950s, scientists teamed up with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to begin ice core science studies. The U.S. Army Snow, Ice, and Permafrost Research Establishment united with the U.S. Army Arctic Construction and Frost Effects Laboratory, and together provided close to 40 years of research in deep polar ice core drilling and core analysis on a large scale. Ice core records show that until the Industrial Revolution, atmospheric CO2 levels remained fairly steady at around 280 parts per million. The annual minimum CO2 level in 2013 was recorded at 400 parts per million. The minimum CO2 level is currently 405.9 parts per million, the highest CO2 level in 650,000 years. The measurement of CO2 emissions in the atmosphere and the ice core analysis are just two ways scientists prove that there have been drastic changes to the Earth's climate patterns in just a few hundred years. Climate change is happening, but there are ways people around the world can help fix this problem. Government and the private sector are increasingly recognized as critical to progress of adapting countries, communities, households, and civil society to cleaner living. Humans must adapt to a new way of living on an institutional, educational, and behavioral level. Behavior, lifestyle, and culture have a considerable influence on energy use and associated emissions. Majorities in 39 nations say they support their country limiting its emissions as part of a climate accord. This would be a great way to begin to deter climate change, but it will require technical innovation and changes in lifestyle. According to Pew Research Center, publics around the world believe that such lifestyle changes will be significant to climate change. In agriculture, forestry, and other land use, reducing CO2 emissions by reducing deforestation and forest fires would improve climate change. A 2013 study estimated restoring farming methods could achieve up to 15% of total carbon reduction needed to stabilize the climate. There are many actions of deterring climate change that the governments of the world need to agree upon and implement, but there are also actions individuals need to take. It may seem impossible to live comfortably and energy efficient, but with affordable alternative energy sources and education of cleaner living provided to communities, it could soon be the new way of life. Carpooling, recycling, or any action that would make living more green would greatly help our Earth. If more people would reduce energy use and adopt energy-saving habits, household emissions would drop dramatically. Small lifestyle changes will help to provide a future on Earth. This new way of life must happen so that Earth can continue to flourish. Through scientific research and facts, this speech has shown that climate change is happening, why it is happening, and ways to correct this problem. According to Pew Research Center, Americans are among the most likely to believe the effects of climate change are a long way off. This belief is just incorrect, and this belief is part of the problem. Scientific evidence is available that proves that climate change is happening globally, even if some people do not want to accept that. There are alternative ways to produce energy that will withstand comfortable lives. We must convince our country to provide affordable alternative energy sources and stop unnecessary CO2 emissions. We only have one Earth to live on. We can't continue to destroy it. And then I have some slides that show the ice melting from 1984 to 2016. And then this one is another from 1975, and it's melted back in 2015. And that is everything. Thank you.
So you show everybody again.
Oh yeah, show everybody again.
Me.